Okay, so today we are going to be doing my June wrap-up, which means that we're going to talk about all the books that I read in the month of June. But before we get into all that, a shout out to today's sponsor, Squarespace. From websites to online stores to marketing tools to analytics, Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that helps you to build your website and grow your business. But we'll talk more about them at the end of the video. Shout out to what I'm currently reading, because I'm currently reading 3 books because I did a really bad job at finishing out my month having read 24 hours. I don't know why, it doesn't matter. Thought I would read a lot more at the end of the month than I did, but also it was unreasonable expectations, which I seem to set for myself a lot. Still currently reading Shadow Divers, which is a nonfiction about deep sea diving. I'm enjoying it a lot, but I'm reading it really slowly. I'm also still currently reading Running Into the Fire, which is a self-pub fantasy book. Lighthearted, charming, silly, fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's all building up to something, but that's how the beginning feels. And I'm also still currently reading Guards, which I didn't even realize until I got to the point where I was trying to organize this video and go through what I've read, and I realized that I forgot to finish it. I got really far into it, but I had to put it down because we had to read this nonfiction for our adoption before one of our home studies, and I focused on that, and then when I finished it, I moved on to the next book, and I forgot to finish Guards. I was enjoying it, I just forgot to finish it. So it's not going to be in this wrap-up. I will finish it though. On to the stats. I read 8 things this month, 6 books, 1 manga, and 1 graphic novel. I read a variety of genres. My star ratings were overall very good. I enjoyed pretty much everything that I finished this month, and that's because I DNF'd 3 books. So the things that I wasn't enjoying, I just stopped reading, which is great for me because that means that I enjoyed everything that I did finish. So the first thing that I finished this month was, I put this under the books category, but now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I should have put it under letter. Is that a category? It's called Letters from Birmingham Jail. This is a letter written by Martin Luther King Jr. after he had been arrested, and he just wrote a letter. This was after he had published a book or 2, and he was at the end of his rope. He had lost a lot of hope in the white man at this point because of the way he had been treated and the way they had reacted to him up to this point. It's a really raw letter, and I really appreciated reading it. The audiobook was only an hour long. Highly recommend it. And I definitely want to read his full novels as well. Next book I read was Children of Time, which is a sci-fi novel. This is a tough one to describe. Let's see here. It follows two perspectives. One is a ship full of people, and the other is spiders. Yep, a perspective is spiders. It's the weirdest sci-fi book I think I've read, but it was so good. I don't know how many of you know this, but I read a lot of the books that I read them with my dad because he just reads whatever I'm reading a lot of times. And he's a really fast, it's impressive how fast he gets through books. All I'm gonna say for those of you who have read this is my dad loved it too, and he was rooting for the spiders. So a quick summary of the plot. The Earth is dying, and the last bits of humanity have to leave behind the dying Earth and travel through space to go to what they've discovered, which is a terraformed and protected new planet that they can exist on. The problem is that there's 2 separate two separate groups that are going to the same place, and they're gonna have to duke it out to get there. Like I said, this is probably the weirdest sci-fi book I've ever read, but I enjoyed it so much. This is the beginning of this book I was so enamored with, and the ending of this book was so satisfying. But there was a chunk in the middle that I really had to push myself to read through, so there are definitely some slow spots, at least in my opinion there were, but well worth the read. Weird book. I think it has a companion, and I really want to read that too because I just don't know. Full Metal Alchemist. So last month in my wrap-up I said I finished volumes 10 and 11, but I was wrong. I got my numbers mixed up. I had finished 9 and 10. This month I read 11. And this is important to clarify because last month I said that 10 and 11 were not so exciting. Nothing much was happening. The brothers weren't even really a focus in them. Not so. 11 was great. Ed is back as the focus. It went dark, it went intense, and I have no idea where it's going from here, and I love it. I'm back on really excited about these. I didn't keep reading more manga this month because I got really hooked on Avatar graphic novels, but so good, and I will be continuing for sure into July. I mean, I know I'm gonna see the series through, but I'm really excited to be reading them again. Next book I finished was The Vanishing Half. This is a book about, it takes place in the 50s, and it's about two identical twin girls. They are black and white passing. One decides to move back to her hometown after they grow up a bit, and the other disappears, leaves behind her family. They don't know what happened to her, and she remakes herself as a white woman, marries a white man, and tries to hide the fact that she's black. This follows both of the sisters as well as both of their kids. I loved the way this was done because she followed 4 separate people and their separate side people in their lives and life's journeys that they've taken, and it's all weaved in so well. This is a complex way of writing this, and the author handled it so well, and she tackles so many deep topics, and again, so well. And I just got her debut novel. This is her second novel, and I'm gonna be reading the debut really, really soon because it only took one book for me to fully trust this author and want to read everything she writes. Hard-hitting contemporaries is one of my favorite genres to read, but I don't read it a lot because they're so intense, and this book was so intense, but in the best way. I loved it. Next book I finished is The Connected Child. This is the nonfiction that I had to read for our adoption. Our adoption agency requires it, and we aren't adopting a baby, we're adopting a toddler, and so this book is really dedicated to people who are adopting kids that have already lived in another home, might be bringing in some sort of trauma, or just in general, they need to adjust. So this is all about things that we should be aware of, things that we should be watching for, and how to love our child the best way that we can and take care of them. It was a really good book, had a lot of things that we learned and that we got to discuss, and I'm glad I read it. Then I picked up Once Again Upon a Time, which was free on Audible, and it was fine. I put it under the romance category in my stats. It's a fantasy, but it's a romance fantasy, and the romance was really the focus of it, so that's why I put it there. But it is a fairy tale about 2 people who married, they were in love, they had a great life, they were having a great relationship. They were married for a day and a night, and then because of a curse that was put on them, they forgot about each other, and now they're married, but they don't know each other or really want each other, and then they go on a quest, on a journey, and it goes exactly how you would think it would go. It's very formulaic. Meet someone, that goes exactly how you think it will. They travel a little, they meet someone, that goes exactly how you think it will, and then the end is also exactly how you think it's gonna go. It was fine. It was fine. I wouldn't have finished it if it were any longer. It was only like a 5-hour audiobook, 4-hour audiobook, but it was fine. Next, I read The Search, which is the second Avatar graphic novel, and you guys, I recommend these so much if you're an Avatar fan. These graphic novels start, The Promise is the first one, and it starts immediately after the series ends. This one, The Search, is the next one, and in this one, we're seeking out Zuko's mom. We're trying to find Zuko's mom, and they go on this journey, and it was so good. I really enjoyed The Promise, but The Search was incredible. We get amazing relationship moments within Team Avatar. Also, Azula joins Team Avatar, not willingly or happily, but she joins them because she also wants to find her mom for different reasons. There's so many things I don't want to say too much. The journey was amazing. The relationship dynamics were amazing. The spirit they encountered in this one is my new favorite spirit that has ever been written. And the conclusion was very satisfying. I enjoyed this so much. This is definitely going to make it on my favorite books of the year at the end of this year. And I don't know how the next one, I don't know how it could be this good. but I'm gonna read it and I'm so excited. Also, in case you missed me saying it in a reading vlog, I'm going to read the third graphic novel for Avatar and then I'll be reviewing them. So probably in a week-ish, I will have a review video out for the first 3 graphic novels. I'll give my spoiler-free thoughts and then I'll go in depth talking about the whole plot of each of them, just in case anyone doesn't want to read them but wants to know what's going on. And finally, the last book that I finished this month was Furies of Calderon by Jim Butcher. So this is my second Jim Butcher book. The first one was The Aeronauts Windlass, which I loved and am still waiting on the sequel for. This was such a unique fantasy book with dealing with even tropes that I don't even like, but doing them so well that I couldn't wait to read more of those specific tropes. I was really interested in the characters. I was so into where the plot was going and what was gonna happen. I was really excited to read another Jim Butcher book. Unfortunately, this one I didn't have such strong feelings for. I kind of have mixed feelings about it. This series deals in elemental magic, which I loved. But it's also more of a standard classic style setting, and I didn't care about the setting of this nearly as much. I also had a really hard time attaching to these characters, and the plot itself was, sometimes I was on the edge of my seat for the plot, sometimes I really didn't care what was going on. It was kind of an off and on interest with this book. Also, this is one of those fantasy worlds where women simply cannot exist apart from experiencing some sort of sexual assault repeatedly. And honestly, I just get tired of reading that. There are a lot of things that I did like about this book, and I do get the appeal of it, especially the magic. I enjoyed the magic so much, and I did enjoy certain aspects of the story, but I couldn't attach to the characters. Other aspects of the story just did not grip me. It was a great ending, and I don't know if I'm going to continue on with the series or not. I'm probably just gonna try his Dresden Files, because that's the series that so many people seem to love of his. So I'll probably just try Dresden Files next and then maybe come back to this, maybe not. I don't feel a need to continue reading immediately. But it was a good book. I get the appeal. It wasn't, I don't know. I felt kind of middle of the road about it. Welcome to How to Create a Squarespace Website with Merphy. Today we are going to create custom bookmarks and a custom website to showcase it. Sorry about the tripod legs and the screen. I'm very unprofessional. So the first thing you need is a piece of paper and some scissors to cut into a bookmark shape and a marker to draw whatever it is you're going to be doing. And while you're cutting and drawing, I recommend thinking about how you're going to be sharing your website. Like with Squarespace's social sharing, the Squarespace blogging platform supports a configurable sharing button, letting your visitors share content on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Reddit, Pinterest, Tumblr, everywhere. So you can share these beautiful bookmarks when you're done. Now you've made the base of your bookmarks. Next is going to be the glue and the glitter. Now, I recommend doing this step on a hard wooden surface, like maybe your floor or a table, not your ottoman, but I'm a professional, so we're gonna take the risk. And while you're doing this step, think about the glue of your website, like integrated analytics. Refine your email strategy with real-time campaign and website analytics from one source. Learn what content leads to higher engagement, tracking metrics from send to sale. Now, all you have to do is drop the glitter off of there. Oh my goodness, it turned out so good! Now, I know what you're thinking. Are my bookmarks gonna turn out as good as yours? And the answer is no, because I'm a professional, but your website can. So head over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the link in my description and you'll save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. One last tip, I do recommend not laminating these because studies have shown that readers really like getting glitter in their books. So thank you for joining me for today's session of how to build a website for your bookmarks or anything you want to build a website for. We'll see you again next time. So those are the books that I read this month. I'd love to continue chatting with you guys about them. Let me know what your favorite book of the month was. I post videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.